Service members are told to get the shot or else. Trump gets booed in Alabama. And Kurt Cobain is getting sued 27 years after his death. These stories and many more on Headlines with Denny the Bull. Welcome to Headlines. I'm your host, Denny the Bull, and I'm joined in the Office Now studio by a feisty, fiery, and fierce female that even William Wallace would run away from, Miss Red Pill Jenn.
How do you even follow that? How you doing?
Are you
Denny?
Scottish or Irish?
I'm Scots-Irish.
Scott. Okay, I figured. All right. And you were lighting up social media this week, too. You had a little bit of rage going on.
A little rage, yeah.
Yeah,
It's all good. It's deleted now.
You were seeing red.
It's fine.
This girl was on fire. I'm also joined by Mr. Adam Joseph.
Hi.
Who needs to get his singing swagger back this week. Last week, Jenn was doing a lot of singing. As you can see, Adam's still a little down in the dumps about it. And I'm going to help him do it. I'm going to get your groove back today, buddy.
Sweet. It's like karaoke. Pick the song.
Just call you Stella.
Yeah.
Now, folks, last week we had a running gag about explaining things better to the folks at home as a result of a fan letter we received. Although the gag was funny, in fact, it was downright hilarious. My mother found it annoying, okay? So I promised Mom that this week I will not ask Jenn to explain to the folks at home what any of our multitude of pop references are or what they mean. You just got to figure it out for yourselves, okay? All right, good. Now, as always, please like, share, and subscribe. With every like on this video, I'm going to let Adam sing another tune for y'all. I promise.
Please don't like.
All right, Adam, it's time for this week's pop culture deep thinking question.
I love these.
With Joe Biden doing everything he can to make Jimmy Carter look like the greatest president ever, a lot of people are asking if Joe's hasty decision to pull troops out of Afghanistan, that is before all the Americans and our partners were out of Afghanistan, if it is the worst decision in history. Now, I think electing Joe Biden in the first place was worse because I saw this coming and I told y'all. Yeah. But half the country still voted for him. Right? 81 million people, the most popular president ever elected. But was it the worst decision in history, pulling out of Afghanistan? I don't know. I looked it up on the World Wide Web. And Adam, I think I've got a few decisions even worse than Sleepy Joe's premature pullout.
Yeah.
You ready?
His parents should have pulled on.
All right. Now, there are some obvious ones. The Titanic not having enough lifeboats.
Jack could have fit.
Jack could have fit, though.
Plenty of room.
Let's get real. The Hindenburg being filled with hydrogen.
Dumb idea.
Napoleon and the German army invading Russia. But you're here to learn new things, and here they are. These decisions were even worse than what Sleepy Joe did. Okay? The most obvious, and I know Adam's going to agree with me on this, bringing Palpatine back for the Rise of Skywalker.
That was a horrible idea.
Jenn, why don't you take a break? We're going to be talking Star Wars here
Thanks.
for a second. Okay? In
horrible
fact,
idea.
I'm just going to check my phone.
the whole Rise of Skywalker was a bad
Can
decision.
we go back and redo that one?
Top to bottom. Blaster to lightsaber. And so was Last Jedi, though. They were both bad. So to recap, episodes 8 and 9 of the Star Wars sequel trilogy were just bad decisions. Worse than Afghanistan.
First half of 8 was not bad.
Really?
The first half was good, but then they just...
I think
that
I
whole
was
thing
asleep
with
by then.
Luke and Kylo, I was just like, I'm done.
The popcorn was good.
Yes.
I thought the popcorn was good. That's about it. Now, Hollywood often makes bad decisions when casting their movies. Now, as bad as Afghanistan? Maybe not. When you cast Kristen Stewart as Snow White, bad, but not that bad, right? Kevin Costner as Robin Hood?
Yeah.
Bad, not as bad as Afghanistan. Keanu Reeves in that Dracula movie? Bad, but not as bad as Afghanistan. But I will say,
British.
the worst ever
British.
decision in Hollywood history. All right, and here's some more. In 1982, do you remember this? How old were you in 1982?
I wasn't even born yet.
You weren't
my
even
God.
oh my
87.
God. Oh my God.
Freaking fetus.
Well, anyway, I'm going to tell you that Mars, now the candy company, not the planet, they turned down director Steven Spielberg's request to be the sweet snack of choice of an alien named E.T. That's right, the extraterrestrial. So instead, Reese's Pieces got featured in the film, and their sales jumped 65%. Do you remember that, Jenn?
I do. I actually just read an article about
Remember,
this.
go home, right?
Yeah.
I'll be here for
E.T.
you.
phone home.
Yeah, their stock soared like E.T.'s long neck, which extended upwards whenever he was aroused by something.
I think that movie is probably still what keeps Reese's Pieces on the
Yeah.
shelves to this day.
So, yeah, anyway. I didn't like the whole extending when he got.
That was awkward.
Rated PG my
Little
ass.
pop culture. Did y'all know they filmed a deleted scene of him spying on the mother while she was sleeping in a towel?
Really?
Yes, it was very, very creepy scene that they didn't
See,
put in
I
the movie.
told you that movie shouldn't have been rated PG. So M&M's was on the ropes until those little animated characters came along, and now they're doing just fine. Okay? Now, you ever heard of Decca Records? You ever heard of Decca Records?
Sounds
DECCA?
Yes. Yes.
You have?
I have, yeah.
Okay, well, I haven't. And that's because in 1962, they did not sign the Beatles to a contract.
That's exactly why I've heard of
Okay, all right. Which allowed John Paul and everybody else to go to EMI until 1968. So some executive said these bums will never have a hit record, right?
Yeah.
With that She Loves You, yeah, 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 and I Want to Hold Your Hand and all that other stuff. You know any Beatles songs out?
I know a lot of them.
You want to
yeah.
sing me a Beatles song real quick? Just a little bit.
Let me figure out.
All you need is...
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. That one's a good one.
That's a Beatles song?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, brother. Well, anyway.
I would have gone with like Obla-dee,
Ellen-
Obla-da.
Eleanor Rigby.
Okay.
All right.
EMI made $50 million on songs like the ones Adam just sang. $50 million in 6 years. And that was in the 60s. Okay. So meanwhile, instead of becoming a double Decca instead disappeared in double time. Decca had what we call a hard day's night.
That's how they say double decker in Boston. Double decker.
Double Decca. Now, other bad decisions worse than Joe Biden pulling out of Afghanistan include prohibition. You ever heard of prohibition?
Oh yeah, banning of alcohol.
That's right. In 1920, the U.S. government decided to address growing public drunkenness, rising crime, and deteriorating health and hygiene by banning the sale of alcohol. Now, needless to say, it didn't work. It did give rise to the gangster era of American legend, created a black market of cheap liquor and tainted booze. I don't know what the difference is between cheap liquor and tainted booze, Timmy and Jimmy. And it also created celebrity rum runners like Al Capone. Now, this madness lasted for 13 years until the 18th Amendment was repealed by the 21st Amendment. A little bit of history for you. Now, Chicago was a dangerous place then. And now.
And now.
I know. I used to live in Chicago and used to bang hags for $20 a hag under the Dearborn Street Bridge. So I can tell you Chicago's still dangerous. All right?
Lord, Denny.
Now, a lot of people don't know this, but the Walt Disney Company in the mid-90s hired a guy to be president of the company. Michael Ovitz. He was a famous Hollywood agent. After 2 years of making horrendous decisions like Home on the Range and all those stupid DVD sequels like Cinderella 3,
Fox and the Hound 2.
Fox and the Hound 2, they parted ways with Ovis, and he got, for 454 days of screwing up the company, how much money do you think he got, Jen? 454 days. How much severance do you think he got?
Like back then, probably like, I don't know, $5,000.
$5,000
Yeah.
in severance. He got $140 million.
Oh, okay. I was going on the way though, because well, a lot of times those guys really get screwed over, and then only later to find out that.
Yeah, only later he kept every penny of it. I'm going to say it. That was a worse decision than Joe Biden. Okay. How about the Donner Party? You remember them? They took that little shortcut.
Yeah.
Road to perdition.
Yeah.
Bad decision. How worse? How worse? How bad? Worse than Afghanistan. Japan attacking Pearl Harbor didn't work out so well.
No.
Probably could be considered a bad decision.
Didn't work out twice for them.
Yeah. Blockbuster not buying Netflix, pretty bad decision for Blockbuster,
yeah.
right? Ford Edsel. Do you know how much the Ford Edsel cost that company in 1959
Probably
when adjusted for inflation?
inflation, probably about billions.
Yeah, $1.9 billion. How about Hillary ignoring Michigan and Wisconsin and calling Trumpers deplorables?
Oh yeah.
Probably a bad decision, worse than Afghanistan. All right, but here it is. The worst decision of all time, according to the World Wide Web. Worse than all of the above. Worse than Joe Biden giving weapons to the Afghan army to hot potato over to their captors. Yes, much worse. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
The New England Patriots say goodbye to Tom Brady, right? And he goes to Tampa, wins a Super Bowl as Belichick and company watch from home on TV. That, ladies and gentlemen, the worst decision in human history, according to the World Wide Web, at least the website I saw. So
At
congratulations,
least they
Robert Kraft. You are an idiot. All
Let's
right.
have their priorities straight.
At least
Now-
he gets massages for life.
Now, it's time for our weekly Rushmore segment, and Jen is here to give us an advertisement. Go ahead, Jen.
That's right. This segment is brought to you by The Axe Throwing Place, located at 592 Fire Station Road. Stop on over and say hi to Henry, Sandra, Karen, and the whole crew. You can find them on the World Wide Web at theaxtheringplace.com or find them on Facebook and book your reservation today.
And you were just there.
Jen was just
I
there.
was just,
You
it
were
was
just
great.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
How'd you
never,
do?
I don't even try.
You don't even try.
My daughter sticks them like crazy. I can't get one to stick in the board.
Yeah, I used to stick them like crazy, too.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
Right
All
under
right.
that
Well,
bridge
yeah, we
in
saw you were
Chicago.
over there. I should have went over there.
It was
Find out.
great.
I was
I've
thinking about
never
it.
seen The Walking Dead, but Lee from The Walking Dead was there. He was
Yeah.
the savior.
You've never watched a Joe Biden press conference?
That's pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
Well, our Mount Rushmore of greatest all-time fantasy characters is Bilbo Baggins, Harry Potter, of course, Professor Dumbledore, and Gandalf.
Gandalf the Grey. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. 2 Lord of the Rings and 2 Harry Potter dudes make the
Yeah.
list. Now, for next week, we're going to do a Mount Rushmore. I'm going to say for our next show. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to do a Mount Rushmore for the greatest female music stars of all time because we haven't done that one. And I love rock bands with female vocalists. I think they bring something to it. So, and I also cry every time, like when I hear Karen Carpenter, right? You remember her, Adam? Do you know any Karen Carpenter songs?
I
We've
do
only
not.
just begun.
Yes.
Okay, and I used to stare at pictures of Joan Jett under the blankets every night as a young lad,
I love
right? Because I loved her music
Her
that
and the
much.
Blackhearts.
Yeah.
Well, listen here. We got Cher, we got Dolly, we got Reba, we got Stevie Nicks.
Oh, yeah.
So
Stevie Nicks.
many. What do you think? Who'd be on your Rushmore? For
Oh, I
great-
mean, well, Janis Joplin for sure.
but was she a great vocalist?
Not.
Go.
I'm not slamming
Yes,
your pick. I'm just saying.
Yes, because you have to listen to Joplin's stuff that's not popular.
Yeah.
So if you listen to her sort of jazz feel type, I'm trying to remember her influence. I'm not fully with it yet.
Well, I'll tell you who I listen to all the time
Who's
is
that?
Bonnie Tyler. Those 2
Totally
great songs she
Eclipse of
did.
the Heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every now and then I get a little bit lonely. What? I told you I'm going to say
Oh, my
that.
God, I
Can
missed
we
him last week. So there are so many. Comment your comment in the comments, and you will be first in line for tickets to see Adam Joseph live from Nissan Stadium as he opens for Carrie Underwood.
Yes, please.
Oh,
I
boy.
can't
need the money.
wait. Jen, do we have any fan mail?
Denny, we do.
All right.
Mary from Clarksville asks if you really think that women aren't funny or if it's just a joke. And if you do think women are funny, what are some examples of genuinely funny women?
We can have kind of a women theme show today.
I
Kinda
guess.
is.
You know, yeah. Well, I think you're funny, Jen.
Aw, thanks.
But looks aren't everything. Just kidding. I thought Joan Rivers was hilarious.
Yes.
Okay, Joan Rivers. I like Tina Fey, Susie Essman.
Okay.
She's on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Lily Tomlin.
Lily Tomlin. Wanda Sykes is pretty funny.
Nah, I don't like her.
No?
No, I don't.
And there are plenty of actresses who make me laugh. I used to love Sex and the City. I know it's probably not the most magic, but it was a great show back in the day, and I thought that cast was great.
What about like Kristen Wiig?
Kristen Wiig was amazing on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And Bridesmaids. Oh, Melissa McCarthy. My God, we can't forget Melissa.
Well, I don't actually like Melissa McCarthy.
What?
No, she doesn't really make me laugh. Now, Kate McKinnon does.
She's
funny,
pretty funny.
but
Kate
the
is,
writing
yeah.
has been so bad the last few years.
Yeah.
But like, let's say 5 years ago, oh yeah.
Back when Tina Fey was
Sherry O'Terry was funny too.
Yeah,
back when she
Sherry
was on
O'Terry.
Back in the
SNL.
day, Molly Shannon,
Molly Shannon.
Shannon, yes.
Yeah, the two kind of go hand in hand. don't
Gilda
they?
Yeah.
Radner was
Oh,
really
Oh, yeah,
funny.
yeah.
classic.
And other shows, Carol Burnett, Lucille Ball. So
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we're proven at this point that, hey, we do like a lot of women. We find them very funny. But there are some. I don't find Melissa McCarthy funny. I don't like Whoopi. I don't like Amy Schumer.
Whoopi used to be funny until she got on The View and got all big mouthy.
Yeah, and Ellen, I don't find
I think
her
Whitney,
I don't
remotely
think
I think
so.
Whitney Cummings
Yeah.
is the most annoying comedian I've ever seen.
But actually, truth be told, I find our own Jen here very funny. Very quick and very funny.
Well, thank you very much.
So,
I appreciate
all right.
that.
Well, before we go to headlines, let's cut to a message from one of our sponsors. Hi, everybody. Denny the Bull here from the new show Headlines with Denny the Bull. Today, I'd like to talk about a new book I just read during a flight from Nashville to Vegas. It's by a local author, and it's called Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Bob, The Last Resort Escort Service. You can get the book on Amazon, on Goodreads, or Dorrance Publishing, or wherever books are sold online. If you're looking for a book with romance that's provocative and exciting, this is the perfect book. It's a quick read. It's like 50 Shades, only written from the male point of view. It's a story of 4 male escorts and their manager, and it's written as a series of journal entries, like diary entries. It tells all of their adventures with women who have hired them for companionship. I couldn't put the book down. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know if these stories are real, but they certainly read that way. There's no other book like it. Again, it's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Bob, The Last Resort Escort Service. It's written by local author Eldon Parker. Go to Amazon.com and order your copy today. That's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Bob. Thank you. All right, it's time for headlines news you can use with Red Pill Jen. Bring it on, Jen.
All right, well, our first headline this week is a tragic one. According to reports, an explosion at the Kabul airport in Afghanistan, spearheaded by ISIS-K, a rival group to the Taliban, killed 13 U.S. service members and wounded another 18 as the U.S. continues to withdraw troops and civilians from the country. President Joe Biden vowed to hunt down the ISIS-K responsible for the attacks.
We say all the time that the rhetoric is so constant across partisan lines that it loses its effect when you really need to mean it. And this has been a rough time for Joe Biden. And these stories have been changing literally by the day. These headlines are coming fast and furious. Now, he does deserve the criticism. But when you call him a Chinese puppet, socialist idiot, whatever, for 7 months straight, now when you should be calling him names, see, they don't land.
Yeah.
So at this point, do you think I care what Dan Bongino thinks right now, or even Ben Shapiro or Charlie Kirk or Dagan McDowell? I just find her unpleasant, right? They've been calling for Biden's head for months, for the border, for COVID, for inflation, for China, for his memory. But now Dan wants him to resign. Now Nikki Haley wants him to resign. Really? You wanted him to resign a month ago, 2 months ago. You're like the boy who cried impeachment with Trump. You're like Adam Schiff, basically. You guys really want Kamala in there? I don't. How about she resigns and then we'll get Pelosi? Are you kidding? So I'm just saying, a lot of the criticism he should be getting is not landing because y'all have been saying it nonstop for 7 months.
Yeah, it doesn't hit the same. Well, the U.S. State Department reported that about 500 Americans were evacuated from the country in the past 24 hours, but roughly 1,000 remain. This weekend, a drone strike against the terrorist group killed 2 high-profile targets, according to the Pentagon.
So everyone's coming back home. We're leaving. Some mercenaries will remain. So now Afghan refugees are coming along with Americans. So this is a mess. The story is changing by the day. Is this going to cost Biden in the midterms? Is it going to cost him before? I'm betting so. And when I look at Adam's prediction over there, I don't agree with Adam a whole lot on his predictions. But you see he's got it written right there that Biden will be out by October. I'm not going to say you're going to be wrong.
I mean, it's getting there. I mean, with everything you just said, with everything under his administration, it's a mess right now, and I don't know how they come back from that. I mean, they had a plan in place, and he ignored it. So, I mean, it is what it is, and we'll see what happens, I guess.
You look what he was going to do. He was going to unify the country. He was going to knock out COVID, right? He was going to withdraw from Afghanistan. He was going to bring peace to the Middle East. So these are the things. Oh, $15 an hour minimum wage, the public option on Obamacare.
Student loans gone.
Right. So basically, everything he ran on, folks, he's not doing. So something's going to have to change here drastically in the next year for Biden, or they are going to get wiped out in the midterm.
That's very true. Well, in related news for our military friends and neighbors serving here at Fort Campbell, according to a memo released this week from Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, all military personnel are now required to get vaccinated against COVID-19. The mandate includes all personnel on active duty or in the ready reserve, including the National Guard. The deadline, is still unclear as to when personnel are required to get their shot. However, the memo asked the military to impose, quote, ambitious timelines for implementation, end quote.
Does once in a blue moon qualify as ambitious?
Yeah.
In my book, it does. Works for me. Well, according to Clarksville Now, quote, mandatory vaccination against COVID will only use vaccines that receive full approval from the FDA, end quote. For the record, the Pfizer vaccine is the only shot to receive full FDA approval.
Thank goodness, because that's the one I got.
Yeah.
So, thank goodness. I was really worried about that tap water they were putting in my arm. So if servicemen or women don't want to get the shot, can they get, like, discharged, or how do they get court-martialed? These idiots spelled court as court, like a quart of milk. Jeez almighty. Why do we tolerate this?
Court-martial.
Yeah, it's court as in court of law, you morons. But anyway, I think the military gave itself an out with this, quote, ambitious timeline stuff. Yeah, and the whole, it's got to be approved by the FDA stuff, too. So I'm just wondering if the soldiers get like a little monetary bonus if they get the shot. You know,
I wouldn't think if they're saying that it's required, and that's a good question. What do they do if?
And they're used to it, right? I remember when my friend Joe Padula told me before he went to Afghanistan, he had to get like anthrax.
The anthrax is a big one.
Vaccine and all that. So I know this isn't unprecedented, but see, my company gave us $150 to get the shot. So they told us we didn't have to wear masks if we get the shot. Then, because it's Kentucky, which is more liberal than we are,
basically buying your way to the shot.
the masks are back. Now they're talking boosters. Oi, right?
They're actually already rolling out the third. They're offering the third dose.
Yeah.
To those that
and I give Bill Maher a lot of credit. So Bill Maher and I don't agree on a lot because I think he's just
an idiot,
kind of a libtard idiot, right? Very liberal, very rich. So we all know where his loyalties are. But he did say on his show, "Hey, I took one for the team. I didn't feel I needed the shot. I got the shot. Now you're talking booster." He said, "I don't want the booster. Period." So he actually said that on his HBO show. So I give him a lot of credit because that's the way I feel. Yes, I got the shot to shut my wife up. I got the shot because my kids were getting it. I got the shot so I didn't have to wear the mask at work. That's it. That's the only reason I did it. But I don't want your booster. If I need a booster after 7, I don't need the polio booster after 7 months.
Oh, no.
I don't need the flu booster after 7 months. So you know what? Now when you start doing stuff like that, you make it sound like you're just padding the pockets of the pharmaceutical. And the big pharma just got richer and richer and richer. Now you're looking really dirty, okay? I took one for the team for you. I did it. I don't want your booster.
I've known a lot of medical friends that just have quit their jobs just because of this.
But what if you're a soldier? You can't just quit your job.
I know, and that's what sucks is that they took an oath to protect this country and everything like that. So they're kind of in like a rock and a hard place right now.
They really are.
I feel bad for them.
So do I.
Yeah, this ought to be interesting to follow up on later on. But in entertainment news, screen legend Robert De Niro was seen vacationing and holding hands with a martial arts instructor amid his divorce from his wife of over 20 years. Tiffany Chen, who met the 78-year-old actor on the set of his film The Intern, has an impressive resume of gold medals and world titles in Tai Chi. She and the Oscar-winning film star were seen kissing on a boat in the south of France.
Good for Bobby D.
With
Bobby De Niro.
With masks on.
Yeah, with masks on. Now, I've heard he's been having some financial struggles lately. He's only doing 4 movies a year, which really hurts his pocketbook.
He looks rough, guys.
He does. But he's 78 years old.
But he looks really, really rough.
Apparently, he's got ex-wives. He's got 6 kids all over the place, and he's got to feed and buy clothes and pay for college and all that stuff. You know, there's something very unique about Ms. Chen.
What's that?
As you can imagine, she's of Asian descent. Okay. That's not a joke. I'm just saying she's,
It's a fact.
We're over
this,
but that's a fact.
I saw the
You're
picture.
right.
That's a
You're
fact.
Right. It's a fact.
Yes.
I just didn't like where
there's
this was
no
going
jokes.
with our writers.
Just simply a statement.
Jimmy,
But what's
Timmy.
really odd about her is
I'll
that
get him back later.
Yeah.
for his entire life, you know that De Niro has exclusively dated and married black women.
Yes, he's only ever dated. He's been very vocal
He's
about
very
the
vocal.
fact
His
that
kids
he-
are all mixed race. Now, I find this fascinating because one of the tropes that we have and have had in this country is that black men really crave white women. That it is a symbol of status for a black man to marry a white woman. I'm not making this up either. It's kind of a trope. But, there's a lot of truth to it. But conversely, you don't see a lot of white men going after black women. And this hits home for me
It's
personally.
because black women ain't trying to put up with your bull.
with with Denny the Bull's bullshit. But I love black women. And as a white guy at 18 who dated a black girl, in fact, I was very, very exceptional for doing that. Now, I was going to give Padula a picture, and I still can, showing me with my girlfriend from high school just to show I'm not talking crap here. She looked very happy in that photo because we were a very rare couple.
Yeah.
We were the only interracial couple where I was white and she was black that we ever saw. And I can tell you that from the black women who I've talked to, and I've talked to many of them in like bars and stuff like that because I find them very attractive, there is a great social status for a black woman who scores a white man, that it is actually a social status. Now, especially if it's a white man like Denny the Bull. So 6'4", broad shoulders, deep voice, and an anaconda.
Owns
that
one shirt.
Don't want none unless you got buns, hun. All right. So I love seeing black women with white men, except for when it's Kamala and her husband. Okay, that's just because I don't like Kamala. But Iman, with David Bowie.
I was
Yeah.
going to
Right.
say David Bowie's in there. Yeah.
Right. Serena Williams.
I
right?
was not aware.
That's right. Her husband's wife. Zoe Saldana, gorgeous woman with a white husband, and De Niro, De Niro's wife. So I'd like to see more of that.
To some extent, Ted Danson.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. For a while.
For a while.
I think that you should just date whoever makes you happy.
Yeah, I know, but I'd
I'd
like
be
to
dating
see more of
alcohol
that.
for the rest of my life.
And by the way, Adam, I don't want to discard the fact best De Niro movie ever. Taxi Driver,
Yeah, I was going to say
Goodfellas.
Godfather 2.
Godfather 2,
A
Raging
minor
Bull.
role for it, but man, that scene where he guns down the mafia boss.
Yes.
That was
A
awesome.
Bronx Tale.
Yes.
Midnight Run. You ever
Midnight
see
Run,
Midnight
yeah.
Run? How about Joker?
Joker, yeah.
As far as just great
Movies, yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The Godfather Part 2. I forgot
I mean,
that one.
that was just great.
Yeah, that
Played a
was hard
young
to
Marlon
beat.
Brando.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of legendary entertainers, sad news for Rolling Stones fans as their 80-year-old drummer Charlie Watts died this week. Watts was featured on all 26 Rolling Stones albums and numerous live albums.
The Curse of the Stones.
Yep.
How are all these guys still alive?
Jagger's still looking.
80's a good age.
That's
all
a
I'm
medical
saying.
miracle. I'm joking about the Curse of the Stones. They've been
Seriously.
Keith
anything
Richards
but.
will still be alive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, Watts was a fan of jazz growing up and bounced around various jazz and blues clubs.
He was a fan of what? Did you say jazz?
Yes, Denny.
Oh, okay.
Jazz,
Jazz. All right.
jazz,
All right,
jazz.
okay.
And that's actually where he met Mick Jagger and the rest of the band. They played their first gig with Watts as drummer in 1963.
Adam, do you remember Paint It Black?
I want to paint it black.
Don't ruin that song.
Okay. How about Brown Sugar?
No. But
Brown Sugar,
My
that's-
favorite one?
Yeah.
Stop me up.
When you
Stop me up and never
That sounds like you're
stop,
saying
never
"stop
stop.
me up." Like,
Yeah.
what is this? A
No,
KO
stop me
update?
up. I'm trying to do
commercial?
Mick Jagger's voice. I call him Lips.
Okay.
Is I'm the only one that call Mick Jagger Lips now.
Wow. You know, Brown Sugar was De Niro's favorite song. Man.
Yeah, I'm sure it
I knew
was.
that. I knew
actually,
that was
you know,
coming.
actually, no. Mick Jagger was married to Bianca Jagger, and she was black.
Black,
so there
yep.
you go.
Ay,
He
ay,
added him to
ay.
the list.
Yep.
Now, Adam, if I name a Stone song, could you sample it like let's say I'm scanning on the radio?
You're gonna be mad at me, Denny. I only know a few Stones.
No.
I wasn't a Stones fan growing up.
No,
Yeah.
you like the Beatles?
No, I was a Pink Floyd fan.
Okay, I'll give
I
you a pass
love
for
Pink
Pink Floyd.
Floyd.
How about Mother's Little Helper? Do you know
Oh
that
my
one?
God, no, that one I don't know.
Okay.
I know
how
the
about
chorus.
how about Ruby Tuesday?
I
Oh,
love
that's
the Burgers.
a great song.
Okay, let's-
Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
how
that
about
one.
She's Like a Rainbow?
No.
That one I don't know.
All right, and of course Satisfaction. You know that one.
Can't get no
That's right.
satisfaction.
My life story is in that song. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Joseph back in action with the voice that makes the whole world sing, "I told you I'd bring him back."
Back in Black.
Yes.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you who's not happy these days. Grace Under Fire actress Brett Butler revealed this week that she's broke. The 90s sitcom star was earning $250,000 per episode at her career peak. That's all. However, a recent GoFundMe for Butler revealed the ugly truth about living in Hollywood. She is 6 months behind in rent, is a recovering alcoholic and drug addict, and is the victim of abusive relationships. Once on top of the sitcom world, the former star now relies on charity and apologizes for all the things that she did wrong over the years.
She looks rough.
Yeah, you talk about ugly truth. Yeah, you're talking about De Niro looking rough at 78.
Oh,
Oh,
bless
my
it.
God, yeah. Now, for those who remember, her show was in its 5th season, I believe, when she just stopped going to work.
Work, yeah.
I mean, she started treating her co-stars like hell.
Yep.
She got deep in the bottle, had to go back into rehab, and the network finally just said, enough, you're not worth the trouble.
No.
So, I mean, this is okay if you have a show that does well in syndication and develops a following.
Following, yeah.
You know,
like Friends. Like
Friends
went on
or
for a while. Seinfeld.
Star Trek,
Star
or
Trek,
maybe
yeah.
2.5 Men.
Men,
You know, a lot
yeah.
of people like that. But this show basically died and disappeared as soon as it went
So
off
she
the air.
left.
I'd
too, yeah.
forgotten. I used to love that show, actually.
See?
And her, and I'd forgotten all
Yeah.
about it.
I
until
mean, I remember
literally
seeing her
right
in
now.
Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, too.
You know-
in
She
that
was
as
in
well.
quite a
Yeah,
few.
She was quite a few.
Yeah.
It didn't sell DVDs. It didn't go on streaming, so the royalty check stopped, but her spending habits did not. Now, a lot of people get drunk on those first paychecks and they start spending. They get a therapist on retainer and a lawn boy, an accountant, a lawyer, and a manager and an entourage, and they pay for all of it, right?
And their rent's like $25,000.
Yeah, they live in L.A.,
And
which is
houses.
expensive. But if you don't check your expenses against your receipts, you end up like Brett Butler. And by the way, she ain't getting hired for anything
No.
either, because nobody's looking for what she's offering now. So She's not funny. She's way past her prime. Now she's a lesson to be learned. Now, what's the lesson, Adam? Treat people right. Be a professional. Keep your nose clean. Those lessons can be learned from Professor Mark Harmon or Professor Tom Selleck or Professor William Shatner, right? It's an important lesson to learn. So
Yeah. Well,
learn it.
in political news, at a rally in Alabama, former President Trump told the crowd that he's been vaccinated and urged his followers to do the same. It was met by a smattering of boos from the crowd, along with a rant from InfoWars commentator Alex Jones, who referred to Trump as a dumbass in a video on social media.
This isn't the pot calling the kettle black. This is the mold beneath the foundation of the house that the kitchen's in where the pot is hanging calling the kettle black, okay? Let me just say this. Donald Trump is the former president of the United States. And for all his faults, I can say that we had 4 pretty good years of peace, a great economy until China created and released a virus that caused a pandemic. We had low energy prices. He shocked the world by winning an election against a political machine funded by $1.5 billion from the heads of every industry, right? It was a shoo-in. She's going to be president. They treated him as a joke. He was a game show host and political novice. But then he knocked out 16 other Republicans running in their primary in 2015, right? He knocked out several senators. He takes on Hillary, who had the entire media behind her. She had all the Avengers behind her. Remember? The Avengers all filmed a big video. Don't be stupid. Vote for Hillary, right? All of Hollywood was behind her. But yet he won. He shocked the world. And even he didn't think he was going to win. Melania definitely didn't think he was going to win. But he served his 4 years. The guy routinely draws 15,000 people to these rallies because he's a dynamic presence. Now, why do I say all this? I'm not a Trumpite. I didn't vote for him twice. I say this because who gives a damn what Alex Jones has to say about anything? All right, Alex Jones is this steroided up lunatic. He's a buffoon. He's a jackass. I wouldn't hire him to mow my lawn. He scares me. He scares children. All right, he makes puppies bark at him. This guy pays for every piece of poontang he's ever had, guaranteed. So when Alex Jones calls Trump a dumbass, I say takes one to know one, buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm going to go with you on that one. Like, I mean, everybody knows my stance. I voted for Trump twice. But him saying this at the rally, I talked to our good friend Joe Padula about this, that we both agreed that this was a good thing that they booed him. You know, maybe he needed that, a little wake-up thing from his
Stay
fans.
in your lane.
Who knows?
Well, Loretta Lynn's ranch foreman, Wayne Spears, was among many who died in the catastrophic flooding that occurred last week in Hurricane Mills, Waverly, and Dixon. Over 20 people were killed in the disastrous weather event. One piece of heartwarming news is that an anonymous donor volunteered to pay the funeral costs for all of the victims of this tragic event.
You know, my family just went to Pinewood 5 weekends ago to a restaurant. It was like a farm to table. Mm-hmm. The ranch was right across the street. They had a little store there with a stage in the back for live music, and we loved it. The food was delicious. The owner was there. She was going table to table. She was selling books on how she built this thing up. We had fried green tomatoes and grilled Brussels sprouts along with burgers, and it all came from the ranch across the street. They had live music. My wife loved that place, and I'm telling you, if it was closer to Clarksville, we'd probably be going there about every other weekend. Now, they just announced that the ranch had substantial damage. I don't think the restaurant had a lot of damage because it's up on a hill, but they are closing permanently, and this is so sad. Mm-hmm. Because
someone's blood, sweat, and tears.
Exactly. She wrote a book about how she built this place for her daughter and all that. And, in the past few years, I've seen places we loved close. Mm-hmm. The Cumberland Grill in Madison was the first. It was a great place to eat. The Red Top Barbecue in Guthrie closed. The owner I know had a health issue, and then COVID hit, and they never reopened.
A lot of the meat and threes, the mom and pop type places are closing their doors.
In Elkton, the Sody Fountain there, we used to love to take people there. It was really a throwback place. It's been closed for a year. And the Red Barn Theater in Nashville, we saw plays there. It was great. COVID wiped them out. And recently, my favorite breakfast place, G's Pancake House, closed its store in Riverside.
Did they really?
Used to go there all the time. Now it's Legends Barbecue.
Legends Barbecue.
It just makes me sad. And we live in a town that is growing. I think the census just said it was like a 20% clip.
Yep.
Right? According
Henry
to
and I were just talking about this at the axe throwing place yesterday.
But the loss of these standalone small businesses makes me really frustrated that our government is giving away all this money to people who aren't working, who are sitting at home, still aren't working, even though we have millions of unfilled jobs. Millions of unfilled jobs.
Places literally closing because they're understaffed.
Because, I mean,
no trivia at Wicked Good for 2 weeks.
Wicked Good for 2 weeks, yeah.
It's how we got our writers, right? Because Jimmy John's, right? We pulled them out of Jimmy John's. That's why Jimmy John's closed on Sundays.
That's right.
I'm telling you, this whole tragedy in Waverly last week reminds you of why you can't complain just because the weather sucks. Because, weather's supposed to suck this coming week, right?
Yeah.
But don't complain, folks, because we are lucky we don't have 2010 here all over again. We're lucky we're not in Waverly.
Cross our fingers.
And I hope they recover. The force of nature, the force of water is literally unstoppable. If water wants to go somewhere, it will.
Yep.
That's very true.
So.
Well, the man who appeared as a nude baby on Nirvana's Nevermind cover accused the band of child pornography in a lawsuit this week.
I'll take money grubbing for $400, Alex.
Yes, please.
Well, now 30-year-old Spencer Eldon is seeking $150,000 each from 17 defendants, ranging from surviving Nirvana band members to Courtney Love to various record companies.
He should be suing his mother for allowing this picture to be taken of him.
Or the photographer that has retaken the photo, seven
I was
going
to say, how many multiple times are you going to take the picture and be like, wait, does not
He signs
seem right.
album covers.
Yeah, his mother dunked him in a swimming pool as a baby. And I'd have been afraid the kid would have drowned, right? But, I was very upset when my mother took a picture of me naked in the bathtub and framed it and put it in our living room just for nostalgia. The problem is that I was 20 years old, and it was really awkward.
That was very awkward.
Taught me to lock the door so Mom and her Polaroid couldn't come in, especially when I was under the covers looking at Joan Jett. But I think $25 million is a steep price to pay here, Jen.
I agree.
No one is ever going to know that baby is you unless you tell them.
They wouldn't have. Now they
exactly.
do.
Who looks and goes, "Hey, weren't you the baby on?"
I recognize that little wee-wee.
There's some other undertone to this, like. I hate to say it because this is just assuming, and I don't like to assume. Maybe being 30, he had a job, got fired, said, how do I make quick money? Mm-hmm. Oh, I can sue musicians that used me as a baby and showed my little wee-wee.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you never know. We got to wait till the full story comes out, I guess. I don't know.
He needs Lawyer Wayne.
Yes.
I hope Lawyer Wayne's getting
know
a
your
cut
rights,
of this
know your
stuff.
options, Lawyer Wayne.
That's right. Or I can never say former football.
That was a free ad we just
that's
gave.
alliterated.
Lawyer
Wayne.
LawyerWayne.com. Know your rights, know your options.
Charge him $100 for that.
Yeah.
Former football star and Trump supporter Herschel Walker filed this week for a Senate run in Georgia, saying that he would, quote, stand up for conservative values and get our country moving in the right direction, end quote. Behind the scenes, Republicans are worried that Walker, a political newcomer, could lose a seat that is seemingly winnable for Republicans. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has urged former Georgia Senators David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler, both who lost re-election this past year, to consider running again.
No kidding. Mitch did that. Really? Why? Because these two are billionaires.
Horrible idea.
But unfortunately, they're horrendous politicians. Okay, that's why they both lost. Kelly Loeffler is a freaking mannequin brought halfway to life. She's still half mannequin, not a brain in her head. She's married to the president of the stock exchange, I think. That's the only reason she got given that replacement seat.
There you go.
When what's-his-face became attorney general. Who's the little guy?
It was, I can't remember. I know you're talking about. I mean,
Jeff Sessions.
Sessions,
right,
yes.
Yeah. She makes AOC look like Einstein, and that's tough to do.
That's rough, yeah.
And
I mean,
Purdue,
both of them are just brainless. Both Loeffler.
They're
and
horrible,
AOC,
horrible politicians. Purdue was a CEO. They both lost already.
Yeah.
In Georgia, for God's sakes, the home of Ty Cobb. You both lost. But good old Mitch McConnell, you know him. Now, here's the thing. Is Trump actually had an appeal. And he actually brought Republicans under the umbrella. If you don't think that's true, you're wrong. Mm-hmm. He actually brought a lot of working class people under the umbrella of Republicans, and actually Republicans were not appealing to working class people. No. All the way through the Obama years. Trump actually pulled a lot of these people in. Mitch McConnell did not pull these people in. No working class person said, "Oh, yeah, I'm really interested in Mitch McConnell. Yeah, I just want to make sure Bernie Sanders doesn't." Come on. Until we have election integrity in this country, people are not going to trust their votes. Okay? As long as we have proprietary software being used on equipment, as long as you can plug a modem into a voting machine, and as long as ballots are mailed willy-nilly everywhere, people aren't going to trust results. Do you see with this California recall election going on right now? I watched something about the envelopes that the ballots are in.
Yeah.
So this is for recalling Gavin Newsom, the governor, right? Basically, when you get the envelope, it's got holes in it. And if you vote yes to recall Newsom, when you put it in the envelope, your yes is through one of the holes in the envelope.
I read that too.
Oh my God.
It's directly in line. So basically, the mailman can see a ballot that has a yes and go, boop, well, here's no one, boop, and toss
Chuck
it out.
File 13.
Yep.
Why would you put holes in these envelopes?
For that particular reason.
For that
For that
exact
exact
reason,
reason.
right?
Yeah.
True story. Well, reversing a planned ban, OnlyFans will once again allow pornography on its site after all. The reversal comes amidst a wave of protests from content creators who decried the move, which the London-based company planned in response to concerns from banks and other companies that fund transactions on the site. NPR quoted Morgan Music, a single mom who sells explicit photos and videos, as a way to reduce her anxiety.
Jen, I know Morgan helps me reduce my anxiety.
I bet she does.
Morgan Music.
I thought that was like a company.
Yeah, Jen, there are these provocative videos that keep appearing on my YouTube feed. I need you to explain to the folks sitting right here.
Yes, please explain.
I think they're from
Go into
TikTok.
detail.
Or TikTok.
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 I just
Kesha
started a
song.
new social media.
Are you on the Book of Face too?
Yeah,
or-
I'm on the Book of Face.
I like the space of my
Yeah.
Now, but here's the
Face
thing. These
space.
are TikTok
Face
videos.
space.
But they're on my YouTube feed. Maybe because I have clicked on a couple of them. Not going to lie to you.
Clear your history.
But I'm not on
Yeah.
TikTok. I don't know how to do that.
I'll help you out after
All
the
right.
show, Denny.
But there are these little 10-second things called Bus It.
Bus it.
Bus It.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you're completely feigning ignorance on this because I know you know what I'm talking about. So, Adam, I'll talk to you about it since Jen is too moral.
I'm just happy your OnlyFans is a backup, Denny. So that's
Okay. So there, what these Bus It videos are.
Yes.
Okay. Let me talk about this.
Yes, man to man.
So a girl dresses kind of plain. She's dressing plain, right? Kind of
Yes.
dowdy. She's usually wearing just regular clothes with glasses and their hair in rollers and no makeup, right? And then at some point in the music clip, she bounces down and she looks like she's ready to prowl. She's all sexied up, her hair's short skirt, legs sticking out, bare midriff, cleavage, right? They're all squatting and bouncing up and down. Now, do you know what I'm talking about, Jen? I think you knew what I was talking about the whole time.
Denny, I even knew what you were talking about.
Okay.
I just wanted to hear you explain it because
Okay,
it's so
so-
adorable.
Same here.
So it's like a 10-second thing. It's called
10-year-old.
Bus It. So surely, Jen, this
Yes,
is contradictory to all the progress that you women have been making here.
Don't look at me. My bras.
Since Susan B. Do you think Susan B. Anthony would approve of your little Bus It video you've been
First
doing?
of all, you described me. I'm the before part of the Bus It
I don't
video.
see Jane Fonda doing any Bus It videos, right?
Adam.
Now, wait a minute.
She'd got my money.
So you women out there who are listening, we got the Me Too and the She Too movements. Women don't want to be objectified. They don't want to be drooled over and harassed by men.
Speak for yourself.
Like Denny the Bull. They want to be taken seriously at school, at work. We're not just baby-making bimbos. We're equal humans, and we deserve equal treatment, equal rights, equal pay. And to prove how serious they are about all this, they do Bus It videos, okay? So I thought about actually doing a Bus It video as a spoof.
I dare you.
I'll be my normal self, kind of dumpy and lumpy. I'll put some nerd glasses on, and I'll bust it down in a three-piece suit. What do you think?
Okay.
Right? I think I can do that. The problem is the squat, the bouncing thing.
I don't think you
Yeah.
can get back up.
I'd probably fall on my ass. I'd tear a hamstring or something.
I'll just do the big one, the big,
Denny
just
would
go,
be
"Ah."
in traction. We'd be visiting.
Yeah, we'd have to help him.
So anyway, yeah, I hope to God my daughters are not doing these Bus It videos. If one of their videos pops up on my YouTube feed, it's going to be all over. But Jen,
Yeah.
I think it's about time. Hand me the phone, please.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Jimmy and Timmy.
Okay, this call to the writer's room is brought to you by Moth to a Flame Candleworks. Now go to Facebook, visit Moth to a Flame Candleworks, and look at their amazing selection of candles, or tell them the scents that you're looking for. I got some candles for an amazing Valentine's Day surprise bubble bath I spent by myself. I hate it when it's Valentine's Day and the wife texts you and say, "Hey, can you stop and pick me up some Tampax on the way home from work?" And you're like, "Man, guess I'll be sniffing my Moth to a Flame candle by myself in that bubble bath." All right, let's call Timmy and Jimmy, our idiot writers, okay? All right, here we go. Writer's room, please. Yes, I'll hold. Yes, writers. On page 9, the segment about OnlyFans that we were talking about. Yeah, you segued into me talking about filming a busset video. Do you realize that our listeners may be snacking or eating or drinking as they listen? And I just told them I'm going to film a busset video. It's disgusting. You two dummies better get your minds out of the gutter, or you know where you're going? You're going back to busset. You're as in bussing tables over at IHOP. You understand? All right.
You tell him.
Go ahead
Yeah.
and take that, Adam.
Well, porn star Ron Jeremy has been indicted on more than 30 counts of sexual assault involving 21 women over the past 2 decades, according to the LA District Attorney's Office. From 1996 to 2019, victims ranging in age from 15 to 51 encountered forcible rape, sodomy, and other violations, according to the DA. Jeremy, 68, is expected to return to court on October 12th for a pretrial. He is being held at a correctional facility with a bond of $6.6 million.
I saw a photo of him wearing a mask in court. And, of course, it was, his nose was out of it. It was like right along his top. Folks, if this man had unprotected intercourse with thousands of women over a 40-year period, doubt he's getting the 1-9er. Because if he does, probably for the best. You could dunk this guy in a vat of Purell for a year, and it wouldn't kill all the bacteria that has seeped into his crevices. So I have 2 questions for you, Jen.
What's that?
One, a 51-year-old. Now, notice I didn't ask about the 15-year-old.
Yeah, we don't want to go. Let's not go there.
51-year-old?
51 years old, yeah.
Really? Okay, question 2.
Okay.
Were these participants in his videos? I mean, he pays for their acting services.
Yeah,
Okay.
he does, yeah.
So if they agreed to offer these services for money, knowing full well he was recording this activity to put either on VHS or DVD or on streaming, and then what? They got embarrassed and are now suing him? I'm sorry, but if I'm the judge, I'm ruling for Ron.
I don't know.
On this.
It's going to be a tough one, I think. I mean, really.
He's still creepy looking.
He's
I know,
incredibly
I know.
creepy
Listen.
looking.
When he was younger, he was actually a handsome dude.
No, he's always
he had
been creepy
he
looking.
had that slick hair back in the day, and he looked like really young, like
He's always looked like a
the
used
mustache,
car salesman.
but a very well endowed used car salesman.
that part is true.
But
I'll
here's
give
the
you
thing.
that.
I would never watch a Ron Jeremy
No.
video.
No.
Because I'm a little pickier about my videos. I
Yeah.
like the men in the videos
They
that
don't
I
bus
watch.
it.
I like the delivery
Yeah.
drivers.
I would not watch Ron Jeremy bust it. That's for sure. But like,
ordered the meat.
I'm going to just throw it out there, even though I'm not a connoisseur of these things. But like, say, do you remember the artist known as Peter North?
Oh my good lord, yes.
Okay, so like Peter North.
Why do I know him? I will answer
you
later.
just know of
I just
him.
know
Why
of
do
I
you
know of
guys know him, but I, the female,
You don't know Peter North?
No, I have no idea.
He actually transitioned. He started off. He has started off his career actually doing gay porn,
Yeah.
under the name Matt Ramsey.
Get the here.
I'm serious. He
Oh
did.
my
He did.
But anyway, he transitioned and became Peter North,
Yeah,
which is a pretty funny name when you think about it.
it's funny.
And I will say this. Like, I have watched his videos, not, occasionally, whenever I needed to watch
Sure,
them.
yeah.
I've watched videos of his literally since, like, the early 90s.
They had a documentary.
I'm gonna
on him,
walk
too.
down and
They had a
punch the
documentary about
writer.
Peter North.
They had a
Yeah.
documentary about Peter
I
North.
can't remember what it was called, but it was because
North Pole.
No, wish it was, but no. I think because he passed away from
What?
Didn't he? Or am I thinking of someone else?
Peter North passed away?
I thought he did. Some
dear God.
major like adult
We gotta look
actor.
this up.
But yeah,
know.
there's 3 things I never trust: seaweed, monkeys, and old guys. So that's why I can't take the side of Ron Jeremy.
Wow.
Oh my.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to Google that
Yeah.
about Peter North dying.
I don't know.
Well, you know what, Denny?
Yeah. You know what? I think it's time for our popular rapid fire red pill segment.
No.
It's not?
No.
Well, that's what it says.
We have at least 10 to 15 minutes left, and honestly, I've had it with Timmy and Jimmy.
You
and
mean
so-
after the North Pole thing?
Yeah, that's
and
it. That's
after
enough.
the bus it and all
This
that?
this is too much.
Very
So
Too much?
loud.
I took it upon myself to write the final segment of the show.
But wait a minute. I'm in the Film Actors Guild, okay? And when you're a member of
no, you're
the
not.
Film Actors Guild, you don't have to put up with that stuff because I approve all these scripts. You know,
Yeah.
so you're saying you're commandeering the show?
I am.
Let me tell
they're
you.
going back to Jimmy John's.
Let me tell you what I think about the idea of Red Pill Jen writing
All right.
the last 50. This is what I think of it.
Okay.
Oh boy, Yeah.
Do you need a tissue?
Yeah, I think I do.
I'm good now.
A little more ambitious.
Well, anyway, are we
I'm
ready?
good.
Are we ready
I
to finish
guess.
the
Are you-
show
you ready?
properly?
I'm good now.
I guess we're going with red
Did
pill.
you? Was that bacon and cauliflower? What is that?
Ay, ay, ay.
Wow, I guess I don't need this anymore.
All right, then.
You might
there's-
for white
good.
pings.
No, bring it
Toss
on. I'm
out.
not afraid
All
of
right.
you.
Okay, good. Don't be. Or maybe you should be. There are new developments in the case of Joshua Duggar, who rose to fame for being a part of the reality show 19 Kids and Counting. For those who may not recall, Duggar was arrested in April of this year for allegedly viewing and downloading child pornography. The Arkansas native's dream team of attorneys are now stating that decisions made by former President Donald Trump might just be cause for dismissal of his case. They submitted documents last week indicating that Duggar's defense team has filed a motion for dismissal citing several causes, one of which blames Donald Trump's choices for the heads of Homeland Security. Then again, Joshua's wife, Anna Duggar, has alleged that the Biden administration is responsible for setting up her husband. We contacted the White House for confirmation. No, we didn't. But
Well, okay, but Josh Duggar, now this is the guy who rose to fame, not just because he was on that reality show with
Yeah.
his parents, who are definitely cuckoo,
Woo-woo.
right?
Yeah.
But also he was screwing his little sisters.
He molested 5
Okay,
young
molested
girls.
means
Girls
screwing. Okay,
within the
what do you think
family,
he was
I think.
doing? Curling their hair?
I don't really want to think about it.
Okay,
But 4 of which were his younger sisters.
Four
yes.
of which was so.
Yes.
This guy's got some deep rooted horny toad
Oh,
problems,
God. Yeah.
right?
He's a
Really,
sicko.
yeah.
He's demented.
And then later, as he got older and had a family, I think he's had 6 kids of his own with
And
his
one on the
wife,
way.
who just
Yep.
loves him because he's such a wonderful
Oh, yeah.
person.
And
right?
one
By
on the
his
way.
side.
Soon to be
Not
7.
because she wants to latch onto the fame of the family, but because he is such an individually wonderful person.
Clearly.
Right? So you're saying that Josh Duggar got busted like looking at pornography
Yes.
of underage people as well, right? It
Allegedly.
wasn't he wasn't watching Peter North videos.
No, he
One thing I
wasn't.
will say about Peter North is all those women are over 18 years old, I guarantee.
Very
you.
much
He's
so.
Now,
very
some of these
very
involved.
professional.
Actually, the investigator even said that it was in the top 5 worst things he'd seen in his 25+ law.
I heard that.
Yeah,
I heard that.
18-month-old children.
What I would recommend is
Yeah, it's too much.
reopen Alcatraz Island
Yeah.
and just put Josh Duggar there
Yeet.
and use it as an atomic test site.
Works
Okay,
for me.
I think we could do both.
Works
I
for
agree.
me.
All right.
Well, we got some local news, and then
Okay,
we'll go
good.
rapid. Which just 2.
Yeah,
Just 2, and then we got rapid fire.
Okay.
So, in case driving in Clarks Vegas wasn't scary enough, plans are in motion to install a roundabout at the intersection of Needmore and Whitfield Roads.
Roundabouts scare the hell out of me.
They do me too, especially here. But according to city spokesperson Henry Kilpatrick, the roundabout is part of a larger project to the tune of $16 million, which will improve and expand both roads. To be specific, this is Tier 1 of the much larger Transportation 2020 Plus plan. According to Clarksville Now, construction is set to begin in October of this year. Design plans have already been completed and, quote, the city is working on relocating utilities, end quote. As expected, this decision is met with mixed reviews from local residents. Some agree that it is the best choice, and others have concerns that drivers in the area simply are not accustomed to how to properly utilize a roundabout. But the officials are confident that this is better than a stoplight.
Yeah.
Also notable that this is not the only roundabout included in this transportation plan. We can expect another at the intersection of Tylertown and Oakland Road.
Oh, fantastic.
Look, I'm all for fixing our traffic problems.
Yeah.
Okay, but there is a reason that there are traffic problems. okay?
Drivers.
And yes, the drivers are young. We're a young town, average age of 28.
Or elderly.
Or elderly.
We're on both.
We're on both ranges, right, of the spectrum. But we do have a lot of young drivers. The schools, I don't believe, have their own drivers training. You kind of got to go through the works place, the Michigan works place.
I'm not entirely sure.
I'm not
And a lot of
sure.
people, the DMV probably takes some shortcuts because there's only one serving a county of 230,000 people, right? There's one.
One.
Yeah.
So we don't have all of the, the programs that a lot of states do for young drivers to get their licenses. But there is a reason that we have so much traffic in this town. And that is because our county commission and our city council and our mayors approve every single request to build on every piece of property that they can get their hands on.
I knew we weren't going to get through a show without you bringing up Pitts and his paving.
That paving
I mean,
pits.
yeah, you have to.
Right? If I had $1 for every dump truck that goes up Dunbar Cave Road or every big glob of cement at every intersection, you folks see those big globs of cement. Those are coming off cement trucks. Why? Because we're paving over everything in this town.
Yeah.
Why? Because every time a farmer says, you know what, Mildred? I think we could probably sell a couple acres over there on the tiny
You're way
town
too
road.
good at that.
Very good at that.
Mayor Joe Pitt says, I'll take it. I'll buy it. Right? Yes, yes, yes. And all the commissioners and city council who are bought and paid by all the construction companies around here and the pavers, right? And the highway patrol, which is all contracted out, not done by the state.
Very true.
Yeah.
So guess what? They all say yes and they approve every piece of construction except my buddy Josh. He's about the only one that says no to this stuff.
Snatch it
And
up
they
and
hate
build
him for it.
storage units, condos, or
That's right. And so we
townhomes.
get all this
Yeah.
paving, all this runoff, all this traffic, and now we've got the Nashville crowd going, why would I pay $600,000 for a house in Nashville? I'll just go up and live in Clarksville and
Phil.
get $200,000 for
Yeah.
a house, right? And I'll just commute 40 minutes.
And now we're paying Nashville
Now we're paying Nashville prices.
And
yeah.
now we're paying
Yeah.
Nashville prices. So, Jen,
Yeah.
I am scared of roundabouts, but you know
I'm
what?
terrified
It
of
is
them.
it's better on your brakes.
You know what else too is that this roundabout, the only people that are going to be used to driving it is people on base, because there's already one roundabout that I know of on Fort Campbell.
Yeah.
Right near gate 3. Is it gate
I
2
don't
or
know.
3?
I
It's
don't
across
know.
the street from MAPCO. There's a roundabout right as soon as you get through the gate, and you're like, those people when they come into town, there might be the only ones that know how to use the roundabout.
It's going to be
No one else.
terrifying.
They
It's gonna
scare
be
me.
scary.
I'm
All right.
scared.
Are you ready for some rapid fire?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Hurricane Ida is expected to make landfall in Louisiana today as a Category 4 storm. According to the National Hurricane Center, Ida is poised to strengthen further, and based on recent satellite images, it appears that strengthening is imminent. Ida is expected to be an extremely dangerous hurricane. Ironically, Ida will make landfall today on the 16th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina.
I was going to say.
I don't want another drop of rain
No.
all year. I've had enough rain.
We're getting it.
This year has been the wettest year I remember here. I'm sick of it. I want us to be a desert the rest of the year.
Well, we've got a flash flood warning already.
I
in
don't
place.
want it.
It's,
I don't
it's
want
coming
it.
right for us.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, number 2, a TikTok user by the name of quote unquote the disrespected trucker 3 is calling for a nationwide strike beginning on August 31st that would include truck drivers, healthcare workers, military members, and other citizens across the country. The strike is intended to protest the recent vaccine mandates that are being set forth for workers in all professions. Part of his statement is that, quote, until we get their attention in D.C., we're going to keep putting up with BS mandates, end quote. He continues, what's going on with the nurses and the military right now isn't right, so we are going to stand up for freedom.
Good. I love revolutions. I love watching
Yeah,
all
but
that.
can you imagine
Their
with all
marches and revolting? I love it.
a trucker strike?
1776.
Yo,
now?
bring it on.
Oh.
Bring it on. I
Yeah.
could use a couple days off.
Well, you might remember the story from last week involving the California family who were found deceased on a hiking trail in the Sierra National Forest.
Yes.
With their dog.
Yes, with
Yes,
their
dog-
1-year-old and their dog.
dog,
That's
yeah.
right.
Jen,
Well-
I'm glad you explained to the folks at home where that was. You said California. I'm glad. I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Thanks.
This is rapid fire, so go ahead.
I was trying
Start
to.
rapidly firing.
I'm rapidly gonna fire you. Authorities are still investigating the cause of death and have ruled out foul play. The current belief is that the young couple, their 1-year-old child and dog, could have potentially been victims of toxic algae spawned from decades-old mines in the area.
Swamp
That's what
thing
happened to
steaming
me there
there
a couple minutes ago. I had some toxic algae, didn't I?
Yeah.
And Jen said
You
she
might
was
want to
going
go see a
off
doctor
script.
about that.
Well, again, I still don't agree with taking a 1-year-old hiking.
Yeah.
I concur.
And it was really tragic. The dog too.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
I'm most sad about the dog.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, there's been a major increase in calls to poison control from individuals trying to protect themselves from the Rona using livestock-grade ivermectin, which is used as a cattle dewormer. Unless you get it from your doctor, ivermectin is not safe for humans to ingest. Both poison control and your butthole will thank you if you don't get your dosage from Tractor Supply. Please, just don't.
Have you ever heard of natural selection?
I have, yes. I think
Okay,
it's a
yeah.
great thing.
I think this is a great story to talk about natural selection.
Yeah.
Let's hope those people don't procreate.
Let's hope not. Well, with that, I just wanted to say finally, all of us here at the Denny the Bull want to thank all of you who have supported us during our first season. Special thank you to Dennis Potvin, who has coached Jimmy and Timmy throughout all of this. And of course, a huge thank you to Joe Padula, our amazing producer. We are taking a bit of a break, but if you miss us too much, don't worry. You can find us on the Joe Padula Show, and our Facebook page will remain up and running.
That's right.
Spotify,
And of course, you can go back. You can watch 15 episodes on Spotify, on Joe's Facebook account,
YouTube.
where I don't know if you saw our last video hit like over 4,000 views.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Keep them
So
coming.
we're ending on a high note, and we hope we get picked up for another season. So,
Yes. That's
right.
you know what, Jen? If you don't have any more headlines, I'm
I'm
going to
good.
wrap up tonight's program.
Hit it.
All right. So we live in a society where the right believes that abortion is murder and guns are freedom. And the left believes that guns are murder and abortion's freedom. I think these are two issues we'll never agree on. So let's just agree on the other 98% of issues. Let's agree that Trump may act dumb at times, but Alex Jones is a dumbass.
Moron.
Let's agree we all want Americans, all of them, home safely from Afghanistan.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
Let's agree that the dude suing Nirvana is what we call a money grubber.
Just say never mind.
ID 10T error. Good one.
Good
Adam.
one. Good one. Adam. Let's agree that we're all praying for a speedy recovery for our neighbors down in Waverly and Dixon.
Yes. God bless.
Yes.
And let's agree that they may never replace Charlie Watts, but when they have to replace Jagger, I got the guy right here,
Stop me up.
Adam Joseph. So let's
Stop
agree on
Stop me up.
all of these things, and then we'll disagree on just a couple. So again, please comment, like, share, and subscribe for Red Pill Jen, for Adam, closing out our first season and 15 episodes. Thank you for watching Headlines with Denny the Bull.
I need a
You
nap.
guys kill me.